For in that there is wisdom too. So don't get carried away. None of us in this room is against riba. We're still eating from it, without exception. We have to get rid of it. And the authority that we may acquire in doing so is because of something we have done. For there is no wisdom, and there is no transmission, and there is no chance of teaching other people, your children or your family or your closest friends, of what this matter is, if you haven't done anything about it. But you acquire knowledge as you do. So when we minted the coins, that they will get rid of paper money, that they will get rid of the banks, that it will unify the people of Nusantara into one nation again. When we did the first coins, we acquire authority to speak about making the coins. And nothing else. And when we use the coins, we acquired authority to speak about using the coins. And when we brought the coins into our neighboring countries, we acquire knowledge about extending the use of the coins. And when we invited the sultans to mint the coins, we acquire knowledge about Sultania, some aspect of Sultania, which, unlike democracy, is the system of Islam, is the model of our people in the past. And in a month's time from now, 3 sultans, at least 3, from Nusantara will come together. And they will announce that together they have minted the dinar and the dirham of the Sharia. And they will say that there is no borders to our coins, that we can buy and sell in a single currency. So the people who are making a fortune in rupiah, ringgit, forex will no longer be there, not with our transactions. And that day we will acquire a knowledge of Nusantara we don't have now, because we may know about Nusantara, and there will be people here saying Nusantara must be together, and we know it must be. But if we haven't done anything about it, our voice has no value. So when we bring them together, and they declare the coin and they bring the coin forward, then one voice will be heard. And that is the voice of, this is the currency of Nusantara. And that I want to hear desperately. I can't wait for the moment. Because it will be a word that is true. It will be somebody who is saying what he's doing. And that is what we are waiting for. Only then other people can be cured. But you cannot go around saying this is the currency and you haven't done anything about it. For it doesn't mean anything to you in the first place. It's only in your head, and it only reflects your madness. And if you had any wisdom, you've refrained yourself from saying it before you do it. For Allah, this is one of the most hateful things. People who say what they do not do. On the other hand, if we take this matter with humility, and we recognize that we haven't got the reward already, we haven't even finished the test. In other words, if taqwa is our guidelines, and taqwa means that you fear that your account will be negative, and it doesn't matter who you are, you fear that when the account comes, it may be negative. That's what you fear. And with that, which is wisdom, The sheikhs have said something extraordinary. They said, if you have taqwa, you will be able to see. You will be able to see. First, that the implication of this is that otherwise you don't see it. But the second is that therefore there are things that we not being able to see today, they're still there, waiting for us. That there are wisdoms way ahead of what we know. That there are matters of which we are not aware yet. That there is a lot more to learn than what we know. And that the path to free yourself, to access these matters, is by having fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then maybe, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you can start walking the path, coming closer to Him, in the process of again acting upon the things that you have learned. Because if there are things that you learn and you don't do anything about it, it's hard. A couple of days ago, I visited a new doctor I've never met before, and I was discussing with him the matters of healing, and he was telling me what is healing medicine is science. He was an osteopath. What is killing medicine is science, the science of medicine.
Killing, not healing.
Because they say it, because they have created a fantasy about the body, what the body is, and they have refused to accept I don't know. And he said, because to heal you have to have faith. And I said to him, no. The faith is what these scientists have. When you say I don't know, you have knowledge. I don't know is knowledge. And then I told him the story of a friend of mine. He happened here in Kuala Lumpur. He had to go and pick up his children from the school, and he didn't know where the school was, so he asked his wife for the GPS address. And when he tried to put the GPS address, it didn't work. The technology didn't work. So he didn't know where to go. So he said to himself, these are my children that I'm looking for. So he went to his car and he drove, following his heart. And he arrived there directly. And that's not possible. And how, if you ask, when I asked this man, how do you do it? I don't know. There's nothing I can tell you of any reasonable nature. All I can tell you is that I follow my heart. And I said to myself, there are my children, I am the father. I will find them. This is the nature of things. That I don't know. There are things we don't know. There's a lot more things of the things I don't know, of the things that you do not know. But in I don't know is wisdom. The I don't know is wisdom. Certainty grows from it. Certainty is a combination of recognizing your state and taqwa. You put the two together, and then you start to see. For these affairs are not what they look like. If people will say, these are people who gather and they recite strange Arabic words in the morning for half an hour and they disperse, They will not understand still why we come all here together and we sit down. It's because each one of us, we love to speak about Allah. The name of Allah enlightens something upon ourselves. We want to hear from Him. We want to hear good of Him. And this is what the dhikr is. Is what happens to us in our hearts. So this is it. You see? This is the story. On the one hand, a task ahead of us, which is not difficult to identify. Society is in a mess, in a complete mess. Complete mess. I mean, I would say worse than ever. And somebody perhaps will argue about this and they will say, no, when the Mughals invaded Baghdad was the worst time. Well, I will still say, no, this is worse. What has happened to man, what has happened, the Mughals had morals. These people don't have any. The Mughals became Muslims almost 2 generations, isn't it? 1 or 2 generations later.